You awake to find yourself in a mysterious castle, or as most campaigns start, in a tavern. Hi, welcome to Dungeons and Wrestling, the Dungeons and Dragons / wrestling show, run by Kurt Johansson.
Hello.
Emily Hayden.
Hey, bitch.
And your boy, Ian Skinner.
That was a good intro.
Wrong initiative, boys.
That intro was amazing, and the fact that we share the same microphone also makes me really happy. We're brothers in arms already, and we've not even started.
I've got one, and it's white.
Hey,
it's not
does that mean that you're like lawful good, right, and we're like chaotic evil?
I think so. I think that's exactly what it means.
Hell yeah.
That's how she.
That's a reference, guys. But Kurt, tell us about what we're going to be talking about today.
So, like any interview that has Ian Skinner on, or any time myself and Emily Hayden are together, it's going to be absolutely nonsense.
Okay, thank God. I thought we were going to go down another route there.
Basically, we're obviously 3 people involved in wrestling in different capacities, and we're also Dungeons and Dragons fans. We all play a campaign separately. Hope we might be able to start something in the future where it's us.
Hey, I've got something brewing in the pot right now.
I see what you did there.
It was just a kind of phrase, but I guess.
But here we are. Each episode we'll be talking about our different campaigns, what we're doing, our different characters that we're using at the time, and bring it into the world of wrestling from different scenarios of who we want as kind of like our dream party. So this episode throughout, we'll be talking about how we first got started, our characters at the moment, and also from the WrestleMania card, be picking our fantasy team, I guess. So we'll start with Emily.
Sorry, I think everyone knows at this point my real name. But so I actually only started recently playing Dungeons and Dragons. So I started in November, and it was quite literally the other half asked me out of desperation. It was so many people had pulled out, and he was like, please, can you step in? Otherwise, we can't play. And I was like, okay, I'll step in for this one session. And then I just ended up getting hooked onto it. So we are playing the Ghost of Saltmarsh right now. That's the campaign that we're doing. And the character that I'm playing as is a sorceress. That was the class I decided to pick. And of course, because I'm so unoriginal, I couldn't think of a name. So I just put Zelda. Because the Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Legend of Zelda mark that I am. So yeah, I'm just trying to think, because a lot's happened in this game. So as of recently, we got into a battle with another ship, and our captain died. So
wait, was the captain a PC or NPC?
Oh, it was a PC. So it was one of the players. It was so gutting because he'd actually initially said when we were coming to the end of his character's story arc, he was like, yeah, I want the character's called Sej. She's a lizard person. So he was like, yeah, my plan was
lizard folk.
Sorry, lizard folk. Sorry. And so with Sej, he was like, yeah, what I want to do with Sej is close his story, and then just let him go off and do his own thing. And then Chris is addicted to making characters, so he's literally got a character sheet full of all these different characters. So he was like, yeah, well, I bring in this character and this character, and then of course Sej died. So we're like, well, at least you get to bring in one of your new characters now. You're sorted. So.
That's the thing. As soon as you write a new character, the character's dead in the water.
Yeah, 100%. And it was that way. I think we were all shocked as well because Sej was one of our strongest members of the party. And because the class that he was a ranger, but he'd also multi-classed into a warlock. So, yeah, I know. And so we were all kind of shocked by it. And then one of our other party members, Perkins, I always get the name in them wrong, but they're like a cat person.
Batsy.
Yeah, that's it. So Perkins, and his backstory was that he was a sailor from another ship and things like that. And we found him in one of our missions, and so he died, and that was our rogue that died. So we were shocked. Like, it's not only is this our warlock and ranger, but also our rogue died. So then we just done like a load of role playing, and it was who's going to be the new captain, who's going to step up and do this role in the ship, who's going to step up and do this role in the ship. So I'm now the captain somehow.
Look at me. Look at me.
I'm the captain now. So yeah, not only am I a sorceress, but now I'm a captain of a pirate ship. And not only am I a weird sorceress, like I play like Phoebe Buffet from Friends. So a lot of the spells that I do are very
running across the ship like.
Yeah, like literally the captain dies and I'm running along the ship like this. So yeah, that's about as much as we're up to right now. Like I got like a little kind of a telepathic moment with we faced a dragon, and the dragon kind of is revealing bits of my backstory, because the way that we're playing Zelda, well, the way I wanted to play her was that she's an orphan in Saltmarsh, and the story's just kind of about her finding out where she's actually from and things like that. Because I got brought in because one of the characters died, so we made him my cousin. So that's my character.
Wait, you've already had a character that's died?
So we've actually had. So
I'm
if you
thinking episode 1, just
instead. So like we had. I need to remember all of Ross's characters. So the first character he played was a half orc called Selden, and that was my cousin in the game. So then he died as Selden, and then he had to take a break for personal reasons, but then he came back. So he came back as Perkins. Perkins died, and now he's playing as a dragonborn called Ashlyn.
Right, who's your DM and why are they such a bloody sadist?
It's my other half that's the DM.
Like we've had one, well, actually, technically 3 character deaths. One of them was final. A second one was retconned. Well, actually, 2 of them were retconned. One of them was for story. Another one was because just a natural retcon itself. And that was in like the final session, like final mission of like that kind of like level 14 to 15 campaign. And one of them, the guy was like, well, it was upsetting because he rolled a failed death save, and then the DM was like, okay, this creature's going to attack you. And he rolls 2 crits because it's a multi-attack. For people who don't know, when an enemy hits you with a crit success on an attack while you are on death saves, that is 2 failed death saves. He hit him with 2 crits. We called for like, okay, that was bullshit. 2 crits on a multi-attack. And he just fucking died.
Worst part is we need a cleric on the team and she couldn't even save our captain. What? But the cleric joined like later on, so that was like why the half-orc character died, so that was like fair enough, and then obviously I joined. So then the cleric joined. But the cleric, it was like, when she joined, she was like, oh yeah, I'm lawful good, etc., etc., and she gave us like bits of her character. But then it was like, there was a mission that we'd done called Isle of the Abbey, and there was like skeletons popping out the sand dunes and such to attack us, and they were attacking in swarms. And she done the bail, and she left us, even though she's lawful good. So, like, I was the only one left standing, so the rest of them were knocked unconscious, and I'm just flinging fireballs, like, all over the place. Managed to get all these skeletons down, And then Liliana, that's the name of her cleric, appeared and was like, oh, so what's going on? And I'm like, nothing. I've just warded off all these skeletons while you fucked off.
We don't have a cleric.
Oh, do you not
okay.
have a cleric in your party?
Well, nope, we...
Well,
Cause
Film was in, Kurt.
Pardon?
Film was in.
There's a group of us from work and we all got together and none of us had played D&D before. But it was one of those where it's like, oh, I've always wanted to play D&D. And then the next person, oh, I've always wanted to play D&D. And then I kind of got wind of it. And I was like, I've always wanted to play D&D. And one of the people backed out of session 0 and she was our cleric. And then I come in and I don't want to be a cleric. Like, I chose to go Tiefling Warlock called Zermeros. Don't know where I came up with a name. And basically, I had like 2 days to kind of come up with a character. And I did it in about half a day and really didn't do any work. So hopefully none of the bosses are listening. But yeah, so I'm literally at work just creating my character sheet. I'm like, right, I'm going to be Zermeros and made this backstory. So obviously Tieflings. I was going with, I'm one of the sons of Asmodeus. Obviously the kings of hell in Nessus, and he was obviously part of this big spell plague, and I was like, how can I go with this? And I wanted to do it why I went to the party and came onto Earth and stuff like that. So I did it where, turns out he's not my dad. My real dad's Mephistopheles, who's king of hell in Cania. And it all comes out and I kind of get sent, and I've got like amnesia to begin with. And I don't really know what happened. I just know that there was a massive fight between my sisters and myself, and Mephistopheles was pissed with me, and I get sent and I arrive in the party. And I start kind of reading letters and stuff, and the DM will bring certain things in where I get a little bit of information. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to be kind of like that cool Dante character, Devil May Cry. So I thought I'll go with that, and I just turned out I'm just a raging lunatic that gets very blood hungry, and I just kind of like, everyone's like, let's be reasonable, and I just walk in the group and I'm like, Amsterdam, and just try and cause chaos wherever I go. And obviously when my daughter was born, I was like, right, I'm not going to be able to play for a while, so we did it where I got sent back to hell. So we had to fight some of like the big demons of hell, destroyed a tavern where there was like, right, we need to go on holiday because it was just absolutely chaos. And I obviously was never going to beat them. So, but my party being my party, we don't have a cleric. We're very aggressive, and was all just trying to defeat like level 20 demons from hell when we were like level 2 at the time.
Wow.
I say we put up a good fight. We didn't. It lasted a few turns, which was good. And then I was like, right, I'll give myself up because I didn't want to get my team to die. But yeah, it's just, we're doing the Lost Mines of Phandelver. So
Okay.
it's interesting. We've got a lot of big characters. So there's a lot of arguments. I've got a paladin that turns out is racist against things from hell because he's all religious and stuff. So we've had that back and forth. And
is he an elf, perchance?
Oh no, just human
Okay.
paladin. That's just.
I guess that's my bias. All elves are racist for me.
No, like you're right. Like elves can be quite very. I'm better than you. From my experience.
Classic Eladrin. You know. Oh, I hate dwarves. Okay, you don't have to keep bringing it up. We don't even have a dwarf in our party.
But now I love dragons. So the character like Zermeros, to begin with, I was trying, especially when I was in person, it was really easy to keep in the character and do the voices. But over Skype, when you're just staring at the screen for ages, it's a lot more difficult. But I'd just be like getting real excited. I'm like, there's a dragon over there. Let's go get the dragon. And like, we're not going to get the dragon. I'm like, but there's a dragon. I want to go play with the dragon. And I'm just like an excited kid that really wants to play with a dragon. And then a dragon actually came one time, and everyone was kind of looking at me and was like, don't you dare go to the dragon. And I go hide. I'm like, actually, Zermeros will do the right thing, because there was owl bear, there was a baby owl bear, and there was a dragon, and our party kind of like in the middle of it. And then Tarnok, one of our characters, he just kind of gets up and starts fucking trying to fight the dragon.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, we are not leveled up enough to fight a dragon.
There's always that one person in the party I find that just wants to go in guns blazing every time you go. No, there's more to fights than just attacking head on. You can be sneaky, you can reason, but no, you always have that one member of your party. It's like, no, I'm just going to go in and attack that thing.
That's normally me. That's normally me. But he was like, "No, I'm gonna rage. I'm gonna fight the dragon." And I think it was kind of because of his backstory, which we don't know too much about. But it's just great. Like always, like just learning different character traits and stuff like that. Ian, what about you?
So I started playing D&D like maybe when I was like 18, 19 initially. My main was a paladin, but more recently I started playing D&D again with my current group. Start of lockdown, because literally I remember first day that like I joined the team, it was McDonald's is shut, which was the biggest shock, and then kind of next day. The lockdown went into effect, so we had a lot of time. My character is a gentleman, human male rogue called Grim Tugust. Bit on his backstory: he grew up in the Great Capital as part of what was called the Lost Boys of the Great Capital, who are a bunch of orphan kids who kind of like all gang together to keep each other safe. And they kind of all grow up, mature, look after the group, and when they mature, they leave onwards. When he lost one of his close friends, well, brothers pretty much, when he was younger, gaining in his possession a magical pistol. He then left for another city and started up kind of like a different sect of the Lost Boys in a different town. He then was jailed for a crime he didn't commit, a murder of one of the boys, which was performed by, he found out the information, a red tiefling. That red tiefling was involved in kind of like a conspiracy, so he was brought out of prison to aid a group of people who are trying to stop this red tiefling.
What twist?
No.
It was me, and it was me all along.
It's like a cross campaign thing where my DMs set this up all along. So beyond that, he's kind of like, in the first campaign, he was kind of a bit like, okay, I'm kind of not in this. I'm in this to kind of like get it done because I'm free. I'm not in prison. And at the end of that, he got his magical gun back, which is the reason why the tiefling would have kind of like set him up. The tiefling set him up so he could steal the weapon, and also kind of like tortured and killed like a young kid who was part of the Lost Boys. The next kind of like campaign, so that was like campaign 1, all set in like one city. One of the main stories in that campaign was the fact that while we were setting up for a bank robbery or like a heist kind of thing, where we were trying to save people by getting into the bank, but the bank was high security. Grim was like, cool.
How was you trying to save people by robbing a bank?
Because we believe that there was, I can't remember, because part of Grim's character and part of my playstyle is I don't listen to the plan, I improvise, and I always know a way out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't listen to the major facts, which is part of Grim's thing. It's just like, okay, we're just going into the bank. Cool. There's going to be bad guys there, right? I think they were trying to rob the Commonwealth, and they were trying to cut off the water supply. I was going
to ask if it was like a Robin Hood scenario sort of a thing, steal from the rich, give to the poor, or...
No, we were hired by kind of like not the military, but the city guard, and then we were, because like there was an explosion at a dam, we were then accused, but then we were like, well, we know all this information, we still need to solve this problem, and one of the city guard was like looking after us. and it ended up being a whole assassination of the king and the mayor, and raising a demon king from outside of like the city that raising a demon from the volcano in the city. But we stopped that and we defeated a demon prince. Yeah, that's a whole thing. But Grim doesn't worry about that. Grim just goes, okay, we did some cool shit. The second campaign there was rings, and they all united together to create a staff. And the staff, it's kind of like the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
But the rings were scattered all across the continent. So we had to come together to collect all the rings, but if there were too many rings together, that could cause magical bullshit. So we went all over the continent, which were like days of travel, a lot of random encounters, a lot of fun, and then big battles in the different ring sections. That was interesting as well. And that's when Grim started becoming a ranger as well. And now this leads us to our legendary campaign, in which Grim, there's the multiverse. The multiverse is involved, and it's all about mind flayers and the void, and it's mad shit. There was a lot of stuff with mind flayers and the void towards the end of like the second campaign, but the main focus of it was this elven woman wants to get rid of all impurities in the world because elves are racist. And Grim is one of the characters who died in the final battle, but he was brought back together by the staff of magic bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But Grim's just burn arrow, sneak, burn arrow, sneak. Also, he has a wife and kids now. That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
busy.
before we were
Congratulations.
before we went to the bank heist, like everyone else was like, "Oh, I need to buy a spell, or I need to do some backstory thing."
You're like, I'm gonna go get myself a wife.
Grim literally said, like, I was like, I might die in this thing. Grim's gonna go to a tavern. He's gonna look out for the half elf, and I just made some good rolls in regards to like performance, persuasion, and yeah, he ended up with a girlfriend. And then towards the end of the second campaign, he's like, "Will you marry me?"
Oh.
And
the DM rolls is there. No.
Yes, no. DM did rolls. Here's the thing: whenever we met up when we were traveling across the continent, it'd always be like, "Oh, I've not seen you in a long time," and he's like, "Roll Constitution and roll Performance." And I think I may have messed up one of the rolls, so I've now got twins.
Have you watched Big Bang, where Sheldon and Amy kind of have like play rolling? That's what I'm picturing, where you're like, I touch her breast, you roll. The DM rolls, and he's like, no, you don't. You touch her knee, and you're like, God damn it.
We did that in a little spin-off campaign we were doing by another guy who was in our campaign. Literally, one of my characters had a relationship with another character. That was a thing.
But you're saying your character's just a little playboy from what you're saying?
Well, not Grim. Not Grim is not a playboy, but this other character that I'm playing in this other campaign. Literally, we met up, and he's like, "Oh, well, I mean, you're the war chief's daughter, but can we be a little uncivil?" and during the Discord call, I think I made some good rolls, and he was like, "Okay, guys, now if you all mute, me and Sean are going to role play." Me and Ian are gonna role play sex. So you guys mute while we do that. I've been so well. I've been doing so well in not giving away my secrets.
I was not ready for that. Like.
But now I've left my wife and kids to fleet into the multiverse to save the entire world.
So you meet somebody, you roll high so you can impregnate her beyond her will, you get her pregnant with twins, and then you do one.
There was a 3-year time skip.
Yeah, I like this story. What was it? Were you going out for the enchanted milk and never came back?
No, I did one of the, I'd say, the most horrifying things I've ever done as a D&D character. So as a ranger, a Fey Wanderer ranger, one of my base spells is Charm Person. So after telling her what was going to happen and they were upset, on my way out, I cast Charm Person and told them everything was going to be okay and then walked out the door. It's sickening, but it makes for great storytelling.
It does make for great storytelling. Just when we're talking about like other halves and D&D, it's like I have a special friend that's a sea elf called Oceanus, and literally the way it's getting played is he's kind of like Paolo and Friends, where he's like, Ricky, like he can't talk properly. So I was the only one that could understand them because the two languages my character specialises in is Draconic and Elvish. So when he's speaking Elvish, everyone in the party is like, what? So I had to translate. So like me and him became like friends because of that. And he kind of disappears and comes back. And he's just came back into the story now. And we kind of just had like it was during a council meeting. So it's like he's across the room, me and him are just like to each other, you know.
We just kind of pick up goblins and kind of do like child labour and slave labour, I guess.
With the goblins.
So we've got a bard that I picked up one goblin where it's a young one, and he calls him AJ. And I actually tricked him into getting like one of the gold knives that I had sold to the bard. The bard gave it to the goblin. And I was like, you want to learn magic? And I basically swapped it for like a fang tooth that I had, like as a necklace. And I was like, doing magic. I was like, and I rolled really well. I just sold this to the bard for like 100 gold pieces. I took it back off him. But then we've got, what's his name? For the life of me, I can't remember now. But we've got another one where he's a lot older and he's just stupid. And we try and train him, but a lot of the time he's just like kind of brushing up all the dirt and stuff like that because he's just scared because we've got a barbarian, like half orc, just bossing him around. So yeah, we're quite psychopaths really. I don't think we're going to get too far before one of us do actually die. It's been close call quite a lot. But I think going into the WrestleMania side of things then, to try and make it a little bit more fun, if we'll go around and you do your first vote of who you want in, if somebody else takes your character, they're off the board. You can't use them.
Oh, my cat just like disagreed with you there, Kurt. Like I literally heard in the background, like, Goku, my cat's disappeared. I actually don't know where he is. Like there. But the cat heard you saying that and he just made a noise.
Right, so who wants to go first? See, we should have all had our dices and we could have rolled to see highest gets it. You have your dices nearby.
We all just sit here and we go, and then we run for our dice.
Go get your dice.
I'll go get my dice.
Roll initiative. Damn. Funny how I can see where my dice are until I need my dice. Like I'm certain I knew where they were. Interesting.
Have you lost your dice?
I feel like I have, yes.
By all means, if you trust me dearly, I can roll for you.
Oh no, I'll just go on a roll 20.
I mean,
because that's
my dice box.
And then I've got like this that I keep them in.
And just to let you guys know, because I'm such a dexterous person, I do get advantage on this. So
You not. However, we'll let Emily roll for yourself since you can't find your dice.
Oh no, I've got Roll20 open just now, and I'll take a screenshot and I'll send it along to you just to let you.
Right.
Love it.
When you were saying Roll20 open, I just thought you were saying no. I've rolled a 20. All right, here we go.
Oh no!
So for myself,
I rolled a 5.
that one.
oh!
No, nat ones always have consequences.
Yeah, picking last.
I got a 9. Like,
I mean, yeah, damn, we suck.
What did you get?
I got a 5.
why do we suck at this?
The RNG gods are not on our side, but hey, you at least get to go first, Emily.
Yeah.
All right, so my first pick, because I had to write them all down.
Yeah.
So I picked Rhea Ripley.
Oh.
So that's my first pick. Are we going into what we've picked them for exactly in that just now, or are we going to wait until after we've all drew names?
We'll go around. So then, yes, Ian, you'll go next.
You're next.
I'm going to take Cesaro.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna use the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
Oh.
Over to Emily.
Okay. The next one I'm going to pick is Edge.
Egg?
Egg? Can I
Damn.
offer you an egg in this trying time?
I'm going to take Bad Bunny.
I knew you were going to say that. What about yourself, Kurt?
Big E.
Ah. Okay. The next one I'm going to take is Alexa Bliss.
Fuck. I was like, do I do Alexa? No, I'm gonna go with Big E first, and I should have gone with Alexa.
I'm going to go with Omos.
Okay. Oh crap! That means I've got to think of another. Right.
I'm just going to get the Fiend match just so I can get
Right.
Fiend, Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton.
Replacing Alexa, it's going to be Sasha.
Yeah, because I originally picked Bray Wyatt and you stole Bray from me, so I was like...
You're going kind of the same, yeah. God damn it. Yeah, I'll have Sasha instead then.
So my last pick is Xavier Woods.
Okay. I'm going to go with Asuka.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to go with McIntyre.
Good pick.
So, Emily has Rhea, Edge. Oh,
Egg?
And
I wish I just had an egg. I can randomly just be like, egg.
Egg.
Hi, Krillin. You coming to do some D&D picks?
Who's going to be your DMs?
Cesaro.
To be fair, he can speak loads of different languages. That'd be quite cool.
I literally I think Dragonborn is literally one of his not Dragonborn, sorry, Draconic. Is one of his languages.
Very nice, very nice.
You see, it'd be a good gag if I if I got it correct in the one. But now I just need to sit with the consequences.
For my DM, I'm going to use Big E.
Oh, that was unexpected.
I was going to go bad to begin with, because I just think he'd be great in that role. But then I think because I was going to put Alexa as my DM just because she can use loads of different characters, but you ruined that.
That's who I picked as my DM for that very reason. Because she can do all the different characters. And I just thought, like, she's good at spinning a story together. And she seems to have, like, the puppet master thing going on, so...
Yeah, please keep rubbing it in.
I think Cesaro would just be very neutral in regards to... I wouldn't have any character bias, you know.
What about your other characters, then?
Oh, right. So, Rhea Ripley, I've picked as a barbarian. And I just had this image of her that when she goes into rage, she does like the stomp thing she does in her entrance.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And she seems like somebody that would be able to take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And basically just absorb it and then just give a lot of damage back. So I would have her as my barbarian in my campaign.
Nice. What about yourself, Ian?
Going on the topic of barbarians, I believe I'd have Omos as my barbarian. I feel that he does radiate Goliath barbarian energy with the height and just general kind of like size of the lad. I feel that he's like a true neutral, like barbarian, in which he's like, I must kill for the purposes of this person is causing too much chaos.
I'm gonna go Druid, Bray Wyatt.
I thought you were gonna say Drew. Just for the pun.
Druid. Yeah, but no. I think as a druid, like capturing that, I think Bray as the Fiend, he's incorporated so much good stuff. So he's definitely going to be a dark, horrible twat, which I don't even know how I'd write it in where he's running around with all these other people like, hey, let's be friends.
Swamp stuff as well.
The heel and hurt stuff I would have in that to where am I going to be good or am I going to be bad? And I'd write that in. I think that'd be really entertaining to see.
That would be entertaining. Plus, like, he's got the puppet pals as well. Like, with druids, like, they've got the ability to be able to talk to certain creatures, don't they?
Definitely like a little rabbit running around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, what about you? Next.
I'm going to say Bad Bunny is going to be a bard.
I didn't say that!
He's a bad bunny.
Exactly. I'm hilarious.
You're so funny.
If not predictable.
I love that.
I don't need to explain myself further. He's going to be Bard Bunny.
Yeah. Bard Bunny, enough said.
For me, then Drew's just going to be a fighter. I was like, do I make him a paladin? And I was like, no, because my campaign, I can't imagine somebody being that self-righteous. So Drew's just going to kick a lot of heads off as just being that big powerhouse fighter.
Yeah.
And he's got the sword and stuff, so it kind of makes sense.
He's got the
sword.
Claymore,
Yeah.
like
Haha.
like the move, like the move.
That's okay. It's okay. I got it.
Yeah. Do you remember? Do you remember that interview where you kept trying to talk about the pineapple on your mantelpiece, but I had to explain like 3 different times that you had your background blurred?
Yes.
I just want to bring it up. As you can see, we can't see anything.
Well, I don't have a pineapple on my mantelpiece. I was using the blur to my advantage.
That's an advantage roll right there.
Performance.
Persuasion. I'm convincing you there's a pineapple there and there isn't.
Deception. Boom.
Let's face it, with our roles earlier on, we're not achieving anything.
We're not achieving anything, no.
Marissa, Emily. God damn it.
So,
You're gonna have to put like a censor bar in, like
my name's like she who shall not be named, like just beep, beep.
Oh, that's a lot of beeping.
or more like beach.
Ah,
I'll give you that one.
I like that. So for Xavier Woods, I would have him as a bard, and literally just so that he would have Francesca the trumpet for his musical instrument, and with his role in the New Day, I always see him as being like the morale guy, so he'd be perfect to be a bard, and he would get performing bonuses as well.
Yeah.
And just because he'd be the hype man of the group, because he's already the hype man of the New Day, so I just saw him as a bard.
Yeah.
Nice. Who would you have Edge as?
So Edge, I would actually have as a rogue, just for the ultimate opportunist gimmick, and I just see him doing it for a sneak attack, a spear out of nowhere.
Nice.
And especially like appearance wise, in particular when he's in Vikings, I could totally see him being a rogue, like looks wise with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would be my rogue in my party.
I think I've actually got a rogue as well. I'd probably put Sasha as that, just because her character in The Mandalorian as well shows that she can do these skulking around, and I think she can be a badass when she comes out of her shell. So yeah, Sasha would be the rogue.
Have we all been through our characters, or have we
Asuka.
some left? Yeah,
Asuka. I believe Asuka would be either a wizard with chaos magic or a sorcerer, but I'm not too sure because it depends on the Asuka that you get.
because she does this.
Yeah, it's the fiddly diddly hands, as I like to call it, like Royal Rumble 2018 when like you never find the bombs, Batman. I think
She's like, okay.
I think a wild magic wizard. Because I don't know if you guys know about a wild magic wizard, but every time they cast a spell, if they get, I believe, they have to roll every time they hit, I believe, or if they get a crit fail, they have to roll a D20 or D100, and you have a wild magic table, and essentially there's a consequence. Something can happen. For example, in one of our parties, a unicorn appeared.
Oh, wow.
Spoke English and then fucked off.
Oh, wow. What, it was just like, good day, and then he just ran off.
Wild magic. Drinking some like dodgy tea.
You'd think, but no, that's just wild magic.
Fair enough.
I can't dispute that,
For those that are listening like the audio form, they're just going to be like, why the silent and then just giggling?
Because Ian is just pulling very animated, funny faces.
Yeah, it's the faces.
Wild magic.
Right.
Yeah, it's the faces that's the weird part of this.
Can I offer you an egg in this trying time?
Would I be able to hold it?
Don't know. Roll your strength check. It might be a heavy egg.
Okay.
Roll for athletics.
I got a 17, so I mean...
Congratulations, you're strong enough to hold an egg. We should definitely try and come up with different scenarios where we can keep rolling through these and just see what happens. We'll have to try and think of different topics or different like wrestling scenarios where we can pick our teams from. And I'm thinking make a nice little graphic, get everybody to pick which team do they think would be best. And if I don't win, then we won't discuss it in episode 2.
I mean, roll persuasion and see if that will happen with us.
Other than that one, what do you reckon? 13. However, my Zermos Tiefling, like, it's +7 on charisma, so I reckon a 20 would get me to persuade you to carry on.
I've got +7 for my charisma as well.
Charismatic. What's on your mind, Ian?
He's just sitting there like, I have no charisma.
I'm just rubbing my hands together, you know.
You warming them up for when we stop recording? I mean to roll dice. That's all.
Insight check those hands.
What's your performance check?
Always good.
I mean, I get twins out of it, so.
On that note,
I do think, however, that Emily's team is the best for the simple fact that it's near enough what my team is, just with a rogue instead of a wizard. And I'm maybe biased in the way of a rogue for the simple fact that I play a rogue.
I've got a rogue.
You know, but no, but you don't have a rogue, a barbarian, and a bard.
You're a bard starred.
Did you just have a stroke? Are you speaking in Are you speaking in Simish?
On that note,
Roll for intimidation, Cat.
It's fine. It's a crit fail.
thank God I'm not playing that one. I'm like, grrr, and they'll be like, ah. Oh, so when are you guys next playing D&D?
I literally had to stop there and I was like, what day do I always play? And I'm like, Friday. So that's Friday. But I'm also going to be starting a new campaign soon. And that's going to be Tuesday. So every Tuesday and Friday I'll be playing. And the Tuesday one's a Star Wars one, so I really can't wait.
No.
Star Wars role-playing games are just... I've read the books and I'm like, so, you know, pity on whoever's DMing that.
It's the guy that died like 3 times in our Saltmarsh campaign that's DMing it. So
he's doing it to get back at yous now.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, exactly.
I was supposed to start one. I think they're doing it today because I've just got the Skype notification. But when we're going back to work, I'm like, I don't think I can commit to 2 D&Ds whilst maintaining a relationship and being a father. I just couldn't do it. But I really wanted to be a Dark Jedi and be like the next Darth Vader.
We get told that we weren't allowed to have Siths in particular in our party, and I was gutted. But so I'm just doing what was my class again that I picked? So I went through all my character stuff the other day.
Gungan.
No, not Duncan. I'm a human engineer.
Lisa, roll perception.
No, the other half wanted to go like a Jar Jar Binks and just feel like... I'm not even going to say what he said, it was terrible. But yeah, so he's actually playing in this one too, and we both just went engineers, but I specialise in the HoloNet technology.
What have they got against Siths? I mean, apart from them trying to take over the galaxy, but...
Honestly, I can't remember why, but he did give a reason for why he didn't want Siths in this campaign. I think it was just so that everyone had like a fair shot and it wasn't someone was overpowered as a Sith.
You're all messed up individuals and want to be...
We're all messed up, that's it exactly. We're all messed up individuals and all want
Yeah, you're just going to play a campaign where you're the villains. Like...
It's literally all just us looking around the table being like, good, good, when things go wrong.
Go slaughter children.
It's like, right, who's going to wipe out the younglings today? Roll for initiative.
My usual crew are still doing regular games per week, but I've taken time out of this, like, because it's the secondary campaign where I'm playing this other character. I've taken time out of it because I'm still working. A lot of them aren't, so they've got a lot more kind of like time to have these late evening sessions, and I'm like, man, I just want some sleep. Give me that sleep. The legendary campaign, we did episode 0 to, i.e., just set up the multiverse. So I think it'll be maybe a couple months' time before we start doing something like that. I'm not too sure. But then I've also written, it's called Frozen Fortress, which is the one shot that I've built. Just sharpening the edges, refining the little details on it. But maybe that's one of the things that we can revisit later on down the line.
Sounds good. I'm this Saturday. Yeah, we do every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be chaotic because, again, we're being tasked to go try and find the lost mines and the spell book, and we went to go ask a question, and we only get one question. And our bard walks in, and he's like, "Where is?" And he basically tried structuring it as one question. So she answered it very vaguely, and we can't go back until a year. So our party, it's the first time where you could probably see not even just the characters, but the individuals was just pissed. And for once, I was being the person that wasn't trying to fight and was trying to make it so our barbarian and our paladin didn't kill our bard. So we don't know where we can find Glassstaff or the mines because we keep exhausting all opportunities because we're either psychos or selfish. So I don't know what's going to happen. Should be fun. But I think it was literally, we ended with me pushing the bard away and them still wanting to kill him. So it's going to be interesting if our first death is from our PC against our PC. But on that note, first episode of D&Dub. See, we need to get that as the intro. Everybody just going
like a chant.
Walk around to random people in the street and be like, "Hey, can I record you?" Going,
well, no, don't want to go near people.
Ask the cats. Cats, just want to record people. Cats, I hate them. Won't do it. I'll bribe them with treats. Maybe get a meow out of them or something. I don't know.
Well, if anybody's still listening to this like horrendous ending, I guess, well, we've just been speaking. Thank you for checking out in its entirety. If you've got any ideas of how you'd like us to incorporate Dungeons and Dragons in wrestling for Dungeons and Wrestling, then let us know. Any guests that you want to hear and get them on the show, let us know as well. Until next time, it's been Ian. We've got Emily. Yes, I said Emily. And myself, Kurt. Go follow us on social media. I'll put it in the descriptions. Thank you. Until next time. D&Dub.
D&Dub. D&Dub. D&Dub. There we go.
Yeah. All right. Stop this recording.